Hello, peoples off the tube, and welcome back to no one's favourite series. That's right. I've not made a video in ages, and I'm not going to be making a video for ages. I'm currently approaching my 10-year anniversary on YouTube, so I'm trying to make something for that. It's not a 10th anniversary celebratory video because those are kind of rubbish, but it is hopefully a good video. Let's see if I make that. I'm not going to tell you what it is in case I don't do it. Because I've filmed absolutely nothing so far. But the tide is by. Until then, welcome back to Ohmydinosare Story Corner.
Ohmydinosare Story Corner.
Just the most fillery of filler. Today's story, I have no idea what it is actually. Let's find out. Let's pick a nice short one. We've done two bad boys. We've done three lovely presents. That one's 7 pages. That one is 8. That one's 8. That one's 9. Ooh, that one's only 5 pages. Great. We're going to read today The Boy Who Was Too Clever. Let's see what that. Let's read that. The Boy Who Was Too Clever. So as you might have guessed, this story is called The Boy He Was Too Clever. He was too clever. Let's see what he did. George, his name was George. I was wondering, like, who is this boy? This very right. As we've established, this book has fallen to pieces, so let's discard the bits we're not needing. George was a very smart boy, and always at the top of his class for everything. He thought a lot of himself, and was sure no one was cleverer than he was. Okay, I don't know how old he is, but I bet there are people that are cleverer than he is. Unless he's child prodigy, it's fairly likely that many adults who are, like scientists, they're probably smarter. I wouldn't say that I'm smarter than you, George. I'm not smarter than anyone. I know nothing. But I feel probably there are people that are cleverer than you. You shouldn't never assume that you're the smartest person, because then it's always bad for you. It's worse when you find out that you're not. I learned that the hard way. Back when I used to think I was really clever, then I found out I knew nothing. Turns out I know nothing. One day he went walking on Breezy Hill. That's like a hill, right, where there's a breeze. And there he found a small brownie. No, not that type. Not the Girl Guide type either. We might have established this in a previous story. In these older day stories, as well as elves and fairies, there's brownies. I wonder if maybe there is a racial aspect to this. Let's just hope not. But essentially, it's like a pixie, roughly. This is a small brownie in great trouble. The brownie had got his foot down a rabbit hole, and a naughty rabbit was holding on for all he was worth. How? Rabbits don't have, like, thumbs. Nothing the brownie said would make him leave go. So that's kind of a strange linguistic thing. I've noticed one YouTuber that I watch who always uses the word leave in a situation when I would use the word let, and always uses the word let in a situation when I would use the word leave. And I thought that was just this guy that did that. Apparently, maybe this is an olden days thing. Maybe this is a thing from the olden days where instead of saying let go, you say leave go. I don't know why. If I think of the phrase leave go, it makes me think of Monopoly. Do not leave. That's pass go, obviously, but you need to leave it to... Never mind. We're only on the first page. This is only 5 pages. Let's get through this. Can you help me? Asked the brownie in despair when he saw George coming along, and he told him what was happening. What will you give me if I help you? Asked George smartly. I'll give you a wish that will come true, said the brownie. Good, said George. Now I'll get you out of the fix you're in. He knelt down on the ground and began to make a noise like a fox. But hold on. What noise does a fox make? If only there was something that would... some way of knowing what the fox says. I wish there was like a song for that. He barked sharply. just as a fox does in the night. And the rabbit below, holding on to the brownie's foot, heard the noise and was scared as can be. But, right, I feel like the rabbit, if he's holding on to holding on to the brownie's leg, he's like a sentient rabbit. He's like got reasoning and rational. So does he not hear them planning this? Oh yeah, I'll get rid of the rabbit. Bark, bark, rabbit. Bark, bark, bark. Oh no, what could that be? Could it be the person that said they were going to go bark, bark, bark? It's very inconsistent, like characterization of these rabbits. Um, he was scared as could be. He let go. He let go of the brownie's foot at once and tore away down the burrow. And again, I'd have used an off, but this is like the 1940s. This book was written, so who knows? Thank you, said the brownie gratefully. Now, what is your wish? Right, he gets clever because we mentioned that George is really clever, and he thinks of something that I think no one has ever thought of before. I wish that all the wishes I ever wish will come true, said George. The brownie stared at him in surprise. You'll be sorry for that, he said. You may think you're clever to think of wishing for all your wishes to come true when I've only offered you one, but you'll find you're too clever this time. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh no, I shan't, said George, very pleased with himself. The brownie ran off, and George went home thinking of all the wishes he could wish. Well, he had a grand time. He wished for chocolate ice cream bars, and he got them. Look at all the things you could wish for. Ice cream. It always comes down to ice cream in this book. Ice cream pudding, ice cream bars. There's going to be something better than ice cream that you want. Oh, well, there is actually. Because he wished for treacle pudding at dinner time. And he got it! Whoa! What a twist! He wished for a bag of toffees and a bag of chocolates. And there they were on the table beside him. Marvellous! Such lame wishes. Gordon, Ben, you could wish for anything. Anything. You need to wishing for sweets. I mean, I like sweets, but that would not even be in my top 100 things I wish for. Because you can just go and buy some sweets. You don't need to wish for them. You don't need to waste. I mean, I know you've got infinite wishes, but why would that be the first thing you ask for? And then he began to feel ill because he'd just eaten a lot. Idiot. But just as he wished, no, he just wished he might be better. And he was. Smart. Aha! He could eat as much as he wanted and never feel ill because he had as many wishes as he liked. Clever George. It's great. You can also, like, you wish not to get fat, which would be really handy for people like me, who eat a lot and then get fat. George had a lovely time that day. He wished for a pocket full of money, and he found shillings and sixpences and pennies jingling in his coat pocket. Wow, what a lot of money! I mean, a shilling is the equivalent of 20 pence, so that's nice. It's a bunch of shrapnel in your pocket. What a great wish! Then he thought he would go and buy what he liked out of the toy shop. But when he got there, he thought it would be silly to spend his money because he could easily wish for any of the things there and have them. So why bother wishing for money at all? If you're going to wish for money and not spend it, the money is just worthless nothing. You have no use for it. If you stupid, why? Either wish for money and spend it, which if it's money coming from nowhere, you're ruining the economy, or just wish to have the things. Don't wish for money and then wish for the things. The money, you're not using it. It doesn't make any sense. It's fine. I'm fine. How are you today? I'm feeling fine. I wish for that big ship, he said. And lo and behold, a yacht fell on his head and he died. No, it didn't. Lo and behold, it was in his hands. It was a toy ship. I wish for that football, said George, and that came flying out of the shop too, and put itself into his arms. Here's a picture of that happening. Lo and behold, it was in his hands. Brown. Digby Brown. It's not sponsored. Yeah. On the side, look at that nice sign in the window. I just noticed that. Plenty toys, all cheap. What does that other one say? Rubber balls, 3D. 3D balls. Oh, I think that's like 3 pence. I really don't know the pricing system of olden days money. I'm not that old. But then a policeman came by and thought that George must have stolen the things. Oh no! And he ran after him. But George didn't run for long. He just stood still and wished that the policeman would walk the other way. And he did! Well, for some time, things went very well for George. And then one day he was walking along the riverbank and he saw a little boy swimming in the water below. It was a hot day and George was puffing and blowing. He couldn't swim himself and he was just a little bit afraid of the water. So he didn't wish to be out of his clothes and able to swim. Oh no. No, he said something else. Right. He said, I wish I was that little boy and that little boy was me. What? And in a trice, he found himself in the water, splashing about and swimming gaily. That's the best way to swim. And on the bank stood someone looking like George, but who was really not George at all. How strange. When George had had enough of swimming, he thought he would change back into himself again. But no matter how he wished, nothing happened. You see, he wasn't George now. He was the other little boy, and the other little boy's wishes never came true. So there was George properly caught, for nothing he could do could alter things. He had wished himself to be that boy, and that boy he was. And what was more, the little boy was a poor little boy with raggedy clothes, not enough to eat, and hard work to do. So George found things were very different indeed. This is a grim and dark story, isn't it? Golly gosh, this went from nothing to the whole way in no time. George found things were very different indeed, and many a time he wished he hadn't been quite so clever. If I hadn't been so greedy over wishes, I wouldn't be here now, he thought to himself. No, it wasn't because you were greedy, George. It's because you were stupid. Why would you wish to be someone else? I mean, like, there's not even a legitimate reason. It's like, oh, yeah, that person better represents who I am. No, there's nothing to do with that. That would be at least an acceptable use of a wish. No. You just that kid can swim, I can't. Did he wish to be able to swim? No, he wished to be some other random guy. You're blooming so stupid. Why do you do these things, George? Why? You thought you were so clever, George. But you know what, George? You're not George. Literally, you're not George. So go you, George. It's fine, we're nearly finished. If I hadn't been so greedy over wishes, I wouldn't be here now, he thought to himself as he ran errands all day long. I'd be George, a little boy with nice clothes, lots of toys, and plenty of money. Sometimes he heard a little laugh, and he knew who it was. It was the brownie peeping round to see how George was getting on. I tell you, Sue! How could you possibly have foreseen this? I tell you, Sue! The brownie said with a twittering laugh. I tell you, Sue! I wonder if George will change back to himself again. I expect he will, one day. Right, that was... I have so many questions. Like, the other boy, he just didn't react in the slightest to suddenly being in a different body. And surely the other boy wouldn't know where George lived. Where would he have gone? How would George know where to go? This doesn't make any sense. This is a stupid story and I don't like it. That was Ohmydinosare Story Corner. I don't know how many of these have we done? Have we done 10 of these? I don't know. That was another episode. There'll be another episode of that. Never, hopefully. That was stupid. That was a waste of time. I hope you enjoyed it. No, you know what? I hope you didn't, because that story really annoyed me. That story is just stupid. There's no moral lesson to it. He didn't suffer because he wished for infinite wishes. He suffered because he made a really stupid wish. If he'd had one wish and he'd wished for that, that would have been equally stupid. And I'm fine. You know what? I'm fine. I'm fine. Are you fine? I'm okay. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.
Tell me a story, oh ho ho. It's not nearly Christmas, oh ho ho. It's a story, oh ho ho. I don't like this, oh ho ho. That is what
I said, because it was a stupid story and I hated it.
oh ho ho.
That story, that was stupid. That was a bad story. Bye.
Traffic on the hour.